Postmen, couriers, or Reddit. What's the weirdest state someone's been in while answering the door? Naked dude soaking wet, wearing nothing but a Cracker Barrel apron. First time okay, second time something is going on here. Very attractive married woman would call our service when her husband was out of town. The regular driver would show up for a booty call. One day I was covering his route and she showed up at the door fresh out of the shower with a housecoat she carried instead of wearing. Surprised to see me instead of the other guy, she exclaimed, "Sorry, no pickup today." I was breastfeeding my baby, heard a knock at the door. Put my boobs away, answered the door. Afterwards I looked down, realize one boob is still out. Have to hand it to the guy, he didn't look down once. They say to this day, the delivery boy is still standing on that porch looking straight through the doorway. One lady opened the door and pissed her pants in front of me while she signed and her BF not so discreetly filmed it from behind her. When I was 13, I was sent to the neighbors to get my brother and tell him come home. The guy opened the door naked, glitter coming out of his pubes. He had a towel covering his goods. I asked him if my brother was there and thankfully he said no. I had a guy who always waited for me in his tighty-whities and flung the door open when I'd bring a parcel to the door saying, "I caught you again, mailman." Also had a very nice older guy who had a skin condition so he never wore clothes while at home. He'd always answer the door and tell me hold on while he put pants on to sign for his medicine while standing in front of the window next to the door. Was a delivery driver for Jimmy John's. Dude answered his door and had two very visible TVs in his living room stacked on top of each other on the wall. One had football, the other had hardcore porn. I used to deliver mail when I was 19. I had this old lady answer the door in a robe and a glass of wine in her hand. She proceeded to move her robe to the side exposing a titty and invited me inside to have some wine with her. I politely declined and ran back to the vehicle. True story. My first job was working at a pizza chain called Pizza Inn in 97. I started as a dishwasher and phone orders. After a year or so, when I got my first car, I gave delivery a shot. I'm probably only about 10 deliveries in, and I get a call for a delivery to an apartment complex. I go up a flight of stairs, and there's very loud music coming from the apartment I'm delivering to. I hear screaming and whooping and so on. I knock on the door, nothing. Knock again. The music stops. Door opens and there is a guy in a pink leotard and tutu and a naked chick with a video camera. They say come in and let them get money, and I step inside. I learned this was mistake later because you can get robbed. There was practically no furniture, save for a table, some folding chairs, two more naked people, a girl covered in paint and a guy with devil horns doing coke on said table, and a mattress in the middle of the room. On the mattress a rather large naked hairy fellow in clown makeup complete with red nose and rainbow wig, and he is fucking my buddy's older sister from behind. Then Mr. Pink Tutu asks me, "You want to make a movie? Do some blow and fuck some chicks." I did a couple lines, then got the fuck out and they tipped me $50. In a previous life I delivered pizzas part-time and once delivered to an apt. I rang, got buzzed in, arrived at the door and knocked. I heard doors open and some rather rhythmic squeaking, so I nervously open the door, step into the hallway, turn the corner, and there on the sofa some guy is giving it hard to, I assume, his girlfriend. He doesn't even look up or break rhythm. She just looks over his shoulder and says money is on the table. I take the money, and as I'm leaving I hear "Pizza's here, hurry up, I'm starving." I managed to hold it together until I got in the elevator, then nearly pissed myself laughing once the doors closed. I delivered pizzas for a while in my younger days. I've definitely seen some odd things, but one instance has always stuck with me. I was in one of the mid-tier trailer parks in town about 2 o'clock in the morning. I knock on the door and soon enough it was opened to reveal 10 dudes crammed into this tiny trailer, all in nothing but their underwear, in the midst of a heated Nerf gun war. They paused, one guy blasted me with his Nerf gun and all the rest went, "Not cool, man," and unloaded on the guy. They ended up leaving me with a hefty tip and a nug. Overall, not bad, but definitely surreal. Not a postman, but a delivery driver. Once had a half-naked fairy holding a leash attached to a half-naked guy dressed as a dog answer the door. On a spring day last year, a kid came up to me in full Captain America gear. Shield helmet. The only thing missing was his combat boots with a Velcro sneaker substitute. He ran up and collected the parcel while his father watched from the top of the driveway and both waved me off. I had a guy answer the door in a banana hammock 3 days in a row. In November, in Canada, he was 300 pounds. On a stretcher. I worked for UPS and had to deliver to a sketchy quadplex apartment. Apparently, the lady got stabbed to death early that morning. I didn't even realize I was walking into a crime scene. Not a courier myself, but I'd been doing a costume test for my LARP when my Amazon package arrived. Answered the door as an armored, fully painted up orc. Nothing too weird. The strangest reaction, though, was one time I was delivering cremated remains, which have a giant sticker saying that on the box. The dude opened the door and his face lit up like I was bringing him a cake for his birthday. He even yelled back into the house to say Fred was here. Not a postman, but have a similar story. I am a firefighter, and one night we got dispatched for an alarm activation called in by an outside alarm company. It was a late-night call, probably an hour or two in the morning. Upon arrival, nobody was outside of the listed address, but I noticed a few lights on in the windows, so after double-checking the address, we knocked on the door. The door was opened by a guy wearing nothing but boxers and a female wearing a towel behind him. We spoke to the two residents and they said they didn't have any alarms go off, but offered to let us in to check out their system. So me, being the young fireman I am, went inside following the male. That is when I noticed a tail coming out of his boxers and very quickly realized he wasn't waddling because of an injury. UPS driver here. I delivered to a housing complex for the mentally unstable and I got chased with a knife the instant the door opened. The staff said she's not allowed anything pointy and they're very sorry. The spot had the worst state funding imaginable and everyone was in shambles. Felt bad, but fuck, make sure they get their meds, please. Not a postman courier, but the one answering the door. In college, I slept over at my boyfriend at the time's apartment. He went to class in the morning and I stayed and slept in. His roommate wasn't supposed to be back until 1 o'clock this afternoon. I showered at like 11 and walked out naked to go back to the bedroom and get clothes. Heard a knock on the door and thought it was his roommate back early, and I yelled, "Don't come in unless you want to see my boobs." Yeah, it wasn't the roommate. It was maintenance. An old man voice replied very awkwardly, "No thank you, I'll come back another time." Thank you for watching this video to the end. In the comments below the video, write if you've had similar stories. Be sure to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out new super interesting videos, and I also suggest you to watch our other videos.